Hey guys, what's up? So today's vlog is gonna be about how I found out with baby, Alright, so let me start this up. Alright, so how I found out I was pregnant with baby number 2. Alright, so basically, it's kind of weird. So baby number 2 is Adeline. So what had happened was I met her dad, blah, blah, we did the bang, blah, blah. So then I didn't think I was pregnant, and every time I found out, like when I found out I was pregnant with Daytona, I had like this mucousy discharge, TMI guys, TMI. But anyway, so I have never really had regular periods, so that was one problem right there in a nutshell. So I'd been seeing an OBGYN, and I have a weird tan, guys. Isn't that weird looking? I think it's weird. Anyone else think that's weird? My chest is really burnt. But anyway, so so I had an OBGYN because my periods were never regular. So anyway, so it had been 2 years since I'd lost Daytona. So then alright, so let's start off here. I was really nauseous, and that tan is really weird. I decided to take a test. So me and my mom went shopping, and I grabbed 2 tests, and my mom's like, oh, you're not pregnant, you're not pregnant, I know you're not pregnant, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, well, what if I am, you know what I mean? And she's like, I'll be upset because I was planning to get my grade 12 and everything, and I was working on that. So we finished our shopping, and then I got home, and I was gonna wait till the morning to take the test because my mom was like, it's better to take it in the morning, your first pee. So then I was like, well, I don't want to wait that long because I really, that's driving me bonkers. I didn't want to wait that long, so I ended up going upstairs and taking a test, and it was like a really positive line, and I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? And then so I took another one, and it came back positive. So then I went to the store again without my mom, and I went and got like the, I think it's clear blue, where it says like pregnant or not pregnant, and I knew for sure that would tell me if I was pregnant or not. So I bought that, and then I got some McDonald's, and then I went home, and I peed on the stick. And at first, like the first, because there was 2 in the box, the first one didn't show anything. It was like 10 minutes of like nothing coming up. So I was like, oh my goodness, like what am I gonna do? That is a really big fly. So I was like, what am I gonna do? And so my mom said, like, take the second one. If that doesn't work, then it's a faulty test. So I was like, okay. So I peed on the second stick, and she's like, maybe you didn't pee too long. Like, pee another minute. So then I peed, and so we were waiting and waiting. And then she went downstairs. I fly downstairs like a monster, and I'm like, Mom, I'm pregnant. And she's like, what do you mean you're pregnant? And I was like, I'm pregnant. And she was like, you're not pregnant. So then I showed her, and she's like, Jesus Christ, you're pregnant. Because when I showed her the test where like the lines come up, she was reading the box. She's like, 2 lines means you're not pregnant, so you're not pregnant. And I was laughing like crazy because 2 line means you are pregnant. So then basically she was just like in denial. She was just like, oh, you should just call your doctor. And then the bleeding, I started to bleed overnight. So my mom said that I should go to the hospital in the morning to get checked, so to make sure like I'm actually pregnant and not having a miscarriage. So I went, and I got tested, and it showed that my pregnancy levels were really low, and he told me to go to my doctor. So then what I did was, that was the next morning. So then that day, my mom and I went to my doctor, had a walk-in clinic, and this part makes me laugh every time that I think about it. So we went to the doctor, and he's like, oh, you need to like pee on the stick, blah blah blah, and then you need to do blood work. So I was like, okay, I know this routine. So I peed on the stick, and it said negative, legit negative. So I didn't know if they like took my pee and like used it on someone else and then took a different pee cup, and you know. But basically he told me I wasn't pregnant. And then the next day he said that the blood work came back and it said that my levels were too low for me to be pregnant. So then I waited, and then so then I just waited because I didn't know if I was pregnant or not, because my test came back positive, but the blood work at the hospital came back positive, but the low levels were really low, so they didn't know if I was like really early or if I just wasn't pregnant or having a miscarriage. So I was bleeding a lot. So then and then the doctor said that I wasn't pregnant because my levels were so low, so he said wait a week and then come back and get blood work. So I ended up going back to the hospital like a week, and they want to do an ultrasound and stuff to see if they could see like the little sac and stuff, because if they can see that, then I'm definitely pregnant. So at the time I had strep throat, which is even worse, and I was miserable, and so it was winter time too, so it was really cold. So I went to the hospital in the morning and I had blood work done. Then I went and had my ultrasound done. The doctor wanted me to wait for my results because he saw something and he wanted me to wait. So then I was like, okay, so I waited. 4 hours later, I got in to see a doctor, and I found out some really weird news. So I have a biocoordinated uterus, which I didn't even know, because I never, that fly is so annoying. I had never heard of that before. In my previous pregnancy, they never told me that. But basically what it is a heart-shaped uterus. And what can sometimes happen is you can have twins. So why he wanted me to see him right away was there was 2 sacs, which basically means there could have been 2 babies. So he told me for sure I was pregnant and that my levels had risen, but now we had to find out if there would be 2 babies or just 1. He estimated me being around 4 weeks, which is really early, and that's why my levels were so low, because I was so early. So then I had to go back in at 8 weeks, and they wanted to see if they could actually see the little babies and their heartbeats, because at 8 weeks they can see the actual babies. So then I waited it out. I was really excited because I would have my rainbow baby, and I was really missing my first daughter, and I was excited because now my daughter could have a sister and stuff, or a brother and a sister. So my family was really excited. I was super nervous because there could possibly be 2 little babies, and I didn't know how I'd deal with that because I didn't have my grade 12 at that time, and I just didn't know what to do. So basically we waited to the 8 weeks. My mom came with me, and my mom waited out in the room because I wanted to surprise her. So at 8 weeks, the lady turned the screen so I couldn't see, which really hurt my feelings, but she said basically they have to do that for protocol until the baby's a little older, or sometimes stuff like, I don't know what she just said is protocol or something like that. So she turned the screen and then she started her ultrasound. Well, I don't know, I could see from the corner of my eye the 2 sacs. Well, she said that there was in fact 2 babies in my sac, like in their sacs, and they could see the flickering and stuff. I was like, oh, that's awesome. They told me that my pregnancy would be high risk due to my loss. So I said, okay, so what does that mean? She says basically every like 3 weeks you get an ultrasound to make sure the babies are doing well. and with twin pregnancies, you make sure that they're doing well. So then she told me the babies were growing fine and everything, and she told me she couldn't give me a picture, so I took a picture from my phone of the 2 sacs and stuff, and that was basically it. So then they waited to do another ultrasound at 11 weeks, and so the baby, like, I was getting morning sickness, and I was more tired than normal, so I knew everything was going well. So this is the really sad part, so get out your tissues, because this is probably gonna make me tear up. So at my 11-week ultrasound, as I said, for my 8 week, the 2 heartbeats were very strong, and they were vital and everything. So here's where it really hurts my feelings. Okay, so I'm gonna say this as fast as I can. So I went in for my ultrasound, and this time I got to see there was only 1 baby in the sac. They said basically what happened was I had still been bleeding, of course. Sorry. So I was still bleeding, so I had passed 1 of the babies. And, or, you know, something like that. They didn't really explain. So the good thing was there was still 1 living baby with a heartbeat, and the baby was growing fine and everything. So yeah, that's kind of where that's at. But I was blessed with 1 strong heartbeat and everything, and it still really hurts my feelings to know that there was 2, you know, living babies just a couple weeks ago, and then just 1 had a heartbeat. I don't know what that really means, but the doctor says that's sometimes common, and I was still high risk, so I was watched. So we just kept an eye on my levels, and then kept an eye on my bleeding. I ended up stopped bleeding, which is a really good sign. And then I continued my pregnancy. I had morning sickness, but I got medication for that, so finally that was good. I got big really, really fast. Like, I was huge. And then basically my 20-week ultrasound, I found out that I was having a girl, and they told me she was breech and everything, and yeah, so my pregnancy went really well. Yeah, so that's how I found out I was pregnant, and some little updates there. Thank you for watching this video. Thumbs up and subscribe, and yeah, thanks for watching.